Right. Move this camera. Hey everybody, how you doing? Hey, welcome to the cast. How y'all doing? How you doing? My name's LaShawn. I'm the unschooling work at home mom. Try to get this camera a little better here. Let's see. I need like one of those tripods or something like that. Okay, that's better. All right, how y'all doing? As I said, I'm LaShawn, the unschooling work at home mom. Right now I'm doing little dishes, so you might hear the water. But my Periscope today is about my mother. She was a teacher, you know, she was an educator, and she got a master's degree in that. And but I choose a different route. I choose to unschool my children. It's another form of homeschooling. To me, it allows more freedom for them to learn what they want to learn, when they want to learn it, and how they want to learn it. You know, the reason for my Periscope today, the topic, is because my family has been struggling with my decision. Hold on one second. Hold on. Your shoes? Yeah. You got it. You need help with them? Give it to me. I'll fix it while I'm talking. All right. Sorry, you know, kids, they're always around. They always need something. But as I said, my family's having a little trouble with, you said, so what are we talking about? We're talking about, that's what I'm about to get into. We're talking about the reason for this Periscope today. And that is because my family's having a little trouble with my decision to homeschool my kids. My decision not to send my children to school. And as everyone knows, it's August. It's that back to school time. It's the time when folks are getting their uniforms together, where they're getting school supplies and things like that. You know, so everywhere we go, people are asking. So I have to ask my boys, are you excited about going to school? Are you ready? And all of that. And they're 5 and 7. So they're not really understanding right now that what we do is homeschool. You know, what we do is we learn at home. They just know that we do it. It's a part of their life, you know, because to me, I say you can learn anytime, anywhere, you know, anything. You just have to be open to learning that, you know. And in my house, learning takes place all the time. You know, as I was saying on another Periscope, my kids, you know, we'll learn at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, I have a video come on, or something that I'm watching or we're watching or something like that. They'll be interested, and that'll open up a discussion, you know. And to me, education is a whole lot about discussing things, having those conversations, being available to, hey, how you doing, Grace? Being able to if you don't know something, look it up. You know, we're in the information age. There's the internet. You can get so many things, so much information off of the internet. And, you know, for us old school people, you got books. You know, take your kids to the library, crack a book, you know, read to your kids. I read to my boys a lot, you know, and that's how we get some of our ideas, and that's how I find out what they like and everything. Let's see, I have a terrible attitude regarding their disapproval, mostly because I don't seek their approval. I understand that. a whole lot. You know, I don't really seek my family's approval on a lot of stuff, because this is my life. This is, you know, what I like to do. This is how I live. They don't have to live my life. And I've been homeschooling since February 2012. The way that came about is that my son, my oldest son, he's 7. He's developmentally delayed. So in Indiana, they have a program called First Steps, and they come out and evaluate your child. And if they're not doing something at whatever level, then they give you that help, you know. And at 15 months, he wasn't walking. And so I kind of got a little concerned and asked questions, and I was referred to First Steps. And when they came out, they did their testing, and they found out he needed a lot of services. You know, thank you very much for the hearts. You know, they found out he needed a lot of services. He had occupational therapy, physical therapy, a nutritionist, because he's kind of small for his age, you know, and all of that was free. And they came out to the house. I had 4 people at my house every week 4 different people, sometimes 4 different days. And I had a nutritionist who came out every 2 weeks, so they help you with, they help me kind of like to understand my child. And we finally got him diagnosed as being developmentally delayed. And the thing with that is that let him be available to go to a developmental preschool. And you start at the age of 3, because the first steps goes from, I believe, from birth to age 3. And then they graduate you out, and then they refer you to a developmental preschool. And what that is, you get the same services. He had speech also. So he had speech and physical therapy and occupational therapy, all of that in the developmental preschool while he was learning with other kids. And the kids range from all ability levels. You had your, what they call normal, children. You had your children with different delays or different developmental issues. And they all learned together, and it was a small classroom. And that was great for him for 2 years, and then we transitioned to elementary school. That's when the problems began. He didn't want to go. We would fight about putting on clothes. It was some mornings I was just like, forget it. We're going back to bed. It was heartbreaking for me to send him off to school every day and know that he's not happy. And I'm trying not to get emotional, but as a parent, you want your children to be happy. And that's my biggest thing, is I want my kids to not have to suffer, from just because someone says this is the way it's supposed to be. This is how it is. This is the way it's been done for years. And it's like, no, there's got to be a better way, and he missed so much school in those first couple first couple quarters, that the school was basically kind of threatening me. It was like, send him to school, or if he misses so many more days, we've got to call Child Protective Services, and we got to do this and got to do that. And that right there was like killing me, Hasn't been helping us so much so far. Hasn't been helping us much so far. No, the system really hasn't been helping us much so far, But the school. See, the thing is, in January, I lost my house, so we had to move into a hotel, which it was just 2014, which kind of threw everything out of whack. And then the bus didn't want to work with me to pick my kid up the way they needed to, and the bus driver was telling me, like, I'm not going into this portion where the hotel is because I'm not allowed, which was funny because the high school kids got dropped off right across from the door. So I'm like, you want me and my 7-year-old son, well, no, he was 6 at the time. Was he 6? Let's see. He's 5. You want me and my 5-year-old son and my 3-year-old child to walk in the snow this amount of distance when he's supposed to have front door service? That's unacceptable to me. So again, we missed some days in school. And when the school called, I was like, well, look, do y'all have a suggestion to help me out? Because I can't drive him there. The bus driver doesn't want to work with me. And it just came to the point where they were like, well, we're just going to unenroll him, which they did. They came to my hotel room, gave me the papers to sign and everything, which was fine with me, And then I got the other knock on the door a couple days later of Child Protective Services. I'm like, hey, how y'all doing? What's going on? And I explained that I was going to homeschool my son. There was a better option for us than public school. Because again, in public school, he didn't want to go. He wasn't enjoying himself. They were kind of starting to label him because they didn't know how to deal with him. He had little outbursts and stuff like that. And then he was learning bad behavior, like spitting on the floor and biting and hitting and things like that. And I'm like, you weren't doing this before, so it's got to be school. It's got to be the kids that you're around. So again, I brought him out, and which with CPS coming to the house and everything, I did what they asked. All they wanted me to do was comply with Indiana state law, which was I had to have a calendar of his attendance days. And all I did was get on the computer, print out a little calendar, mark some days. I handed her like, here you go. Here's what we've done from this day to that day, You know, it was just, he attended. That's all I had to do. You know, I'm in a different state now, and it's kind of different. You know, if you want to homeschool, you need to put in your state, go, you know, do a Google search and put in your state and homeschool rules or homeschooling. You know, just say, what do you have to do to homeschool in such and such a state, you know? And some states are pretty lax, which is cool, and other states are pretty strict. And when I decide to move from here, I'll be checking out the homeschooling laws, because, you know, with me unschooling, it's, we don't have a set curriculum. We don't go by expectations, you know. Thank you, Grace. I'm so happy. It's so much better now, you know. It's a relief, you know, especially with my youngest son, because he's so creative. He'll be like, "Mommy, I'm doing a project," and his latest projects were freezing water. So that led to conversations about the different stages of water. You know, your solid, your liquid, your gas. And I boiled some water so he could see, you know, how water turns into steam. You know, and then we talked about what happens when the ice is out of the freezer. What happens to it? It goes back to a liquid. You know, see, a simple thing as freezing ice, that something he was interested in, turned into a lesson. You know, you can turn anything into a lesson, you know. And I really appreciate the heart's grace. And I appreciate you all for coming on and listening to me and staying with me. And for those who haven't got the introduction before, I am LaShawn, the unschooling work-at-home mom. And the reason today that I'm talking about, the title says, my mother was a teacher / educator, why I choose to homeschool my kids. And, dishes. And my thing is basically freedom. That's a lot of people in life, they look for freedom. You want to be free to do as you please and to do what you want. And you should be free to, you know, learn how you want to learn, free to live how you want to live, as long as you're not hurting another person, you know. And again, the reason that I brought up this topic is just because I've been going through things with my family, and their basically disapproval of my decision to homeschool my boys. You know, their fear, not my fear. Their fear is that my boys won't be socialized enough. And I'm like, what is socialized? I don't understand that word. How they talk to me, they talk to the neighbors, and as I get my situation better and, you know, finally get a car and everything, I'll be able to take them places like to the Y, or figure out what kind of events, because they're 5 and 7. You know, it's not really much to do when you're 5 and 7 except play. So I'll have more time to take them like to the zoo and to things like that, so that they can see the world more, see outside of their world, outside of the house more. And on a bigger scale, I'm sitting here sweating and everything. On a bigger scale, I have plans, either my plans, but I have plans to take my boys out of the country. You know, I want to go to like Italy or Japan, or, you know, someplace like that, spend a couple of months and be able to, you know, maybe hire a tutor so we can learn the language. You know, we can learn the culture. We can learn, you know, while we're there, learn what those people are about and expand our worldview, you know, because there is a lot of, playgrounds don't exist. And we got a lot of playgrounds. We have a playground right across the street. You know, it was the school. The funny thing is, the elementary school is right across the street from my house. They have a playground, and my boys go there and play every day. So, you know, as I say, the neighborhood kids come out and they play also. But I want to expand their worldview. I want to make them world learners. You know, open their minds to understand that it's more to do in this world than just what you see in your backyard, than just what you see in your own home country, than just what you see on the internet or on the TV. You know, you need to go places and experience the culture, experience the people. And, you know, sometimes some folks have to get out their comfort zone, you know. Oh, I got you, Grace. Yeah, that's the thing that kills me. I'm like, And then let's go a little deeper into this socialization thing with school, when people think that kids can't be social. What is the social culture of our schools? The social culture of our schools scares the heck out of me, because my daughter, she'll be 17 on the 23rd. She went to school. She went to school from kindergarten, well, actually pre-K to the 10th grade. She was in a physical building for school, and she was bullied. In the 6th grade, she was bullied, and actually throughout junior high and high school, she was bullied, and told things like she wasn't pretty, or she wasn't this, or she wasn't that, which have given her kind of a. Hold on, I'm sorry. Oh, you got your flip-flops. You found them at the park. You left them at the park?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Mama. No students did.
No, nobody got them?
No.
Okay, all right. And sorry about that. Kids come in, I gotta stop for a moment what I'm doing and see what they need from me. But as I said, the culture of our school, you got your cliques, you got your bullies, you've got just so much going on, and I don't want my boys to be subjected to that right there, And some folks will say, well, if they never learn how to deal with bullies, how will they? There's my little one. Said if they don't learn how to deal with bullies, how will they learn how to live in life? And I'm like, do you really need to go through all those negative experiences just to be able to live a good life, just be able to understand how to handle life? I want to teach my boys to be good people and to treat people well, and to expect to be treated, with respect, and understand that some people won't do that, and when those situations arise, you still deal with it. Oh, love you, baby. I love you.
Have a good life.
Thank you, baby. But as I was saying, when those to prepare them for those situations, and let them know when those situations arise, when people are being negative to you, you don't have to stoop to their level and be negative back. You just do you, or walk away, or if you're able to walk away. But there's a whole lot of ways to handle socialization without having to go to school. As down the line, as I said, the YMCA. They can go to the Y, they can join programs, they can do basketball, they can do football, they can do tennis, they can do all this stuff. They can, I think there's like a karate dojo around the way. They can go karate. You can get friends in so many different places. You don't have to just go to school. You just don't have to be in somebody's class for however many hours a day. Right now, as my cousin told me, it's 7 hours a day for 5 days a week, that I'd have a break from my boys. And I'm like, I don't really need a break like that. You got to think of the consequences of that. What are you giving up by putting your kids in school just so you can have a break? What is someone else putting into their mind that you may have to, re-educate them on? There's a lot of, I know I'm going kind of all over the place. There's just a lot of ideas just jump in my head as I talk. But that thing about re-education, I've had to re-educate myself on a lot of stuff, because school wasn't such a great thing for me. I loved school in the beginning. In middle school, I decided I wanted to be a straight A student, and that's what I was going to strive for. That was nobody else pressuring me to do that. That was my decision. That was something I wanted to do. And but the thing is, we moved. We moved. Where did we move? We moved from Green Bay, Wisconsin, where I was having a very great education, to Cincinnati, Ohio. And that was pretty much the downfall of my academic life right there, because they pretty much, to me, they were behind the school that I left. And then they didn't appreciate the education that I had gotten. Just an example. I'm sweating a lot in this kitchen. Just an example. I had taken, at my other school, we can take a foreign language, at 7th grade. So I took Spanish. And we started off with how you learn to speak is you learn from conversation. So it was a conversational Spanish for supposed to be for 7th grade and 8th grade. And then we get into the semantics, the grammar, the how it's written on paper and stuff like that. And for when I moved in 8th grade, they gave me a test on paper, and it's like I was like, yeah, I probably won't pass this test, but if we sit down and have a conversation, I bet you I can speak better Spanish than half the children you have in your class. But they didn't want to hear that because I'm a kid. And what does a kid know? So that was strike 1 right there. Strike 2 was I had a choice between reading and spelling as an elective. And I'm sitting there like, are you serious? I mean, I read all the time. That's one of the things I love to do. But to be forced to read in a class, I'm like, there's so many other classes that you all can have than focusing on reading and spelling for 50 minutes a day all week, But they don't want to listen to kids, which is sad because sometimes we do know what we need. And I like to run track and I like marching band, and I like band class. So that was my high school life right there. Those 3 things, that's what I lived for, and that's the reason I stayed in school. Well, also because my parents wouldn't let me drop out. That wouldn't have even been a thought to drop out of school, especially with my mother being an educator, And but I think I'm kind of getting off topic here. But I appreciate you all for listening. I appreciate you all for tuning in and for staying with me. And hopefully I can bring more discussions on education and homeschooling and unschooling. And if y'all have any ideas or anything that you want to hear from me, please go over on Facebook at it's the same as my name here, Unschooling, WAHM, which stands for Unschooling Work at Home Mom. And over on Facebook, I have a Facebook page. You can, if you like the content, go ahead and like the page so you can stay up on my updates and things like that. But again, I appreciate you all. Oh, you're freezing. I hate when Pogo. I'm sorry, it's a game site that I play on. But I hate when Periscope freezes on me. Because I'll be listening to someone and it'll be really interesting, and then I get the big freeze. But I hope that you got something out of this. Thank you again for joining me. If you haven't already followed me, go ahead and follow. And I think I've followed most of everyone on here. So you all have a great afternoon, have a great evening, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.